Welcome back to Wild Speculations. I'm Daniel.
I'm Scott.
Tonight we talk about Critical Role Campaign 3, Episode 24, The Hellcatch Valley.
Yes.
Good episode. Late break, which sort of threw my timing off.
Not like there were some great moments, but not a lot happened.
Yeah.
I mean, it was basically an intro for a character.
Yeah. And for the first time in this campaign, we've had real resistance of revealing backstory.
Yes.
But right off the bat, Matt has them roll to determine a random encounter for the last day's travel journey.
Yes.
And Orem is on watch.
Yeah.
It's kind of a good thing Orem was the one on watch, because I'm not sure anyone else would have.
Yeah, but of all the people to roll a natural 20 on a perception check, his is the biggest waste of a natural 20 on a perception check.
I guess. Just because his modifier is so high?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he would have gotten about the same if he's like, I'm just going to do my kata and passively like keep an eye out as I'm doing my kata.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been about the same result.
Yeah. Yeah, I just kept thinking, what if Ashton or Fern had been on watch? Like, would they... Like, to me,
then
Fern would have just watched
break
them.
a lot earlier. They wouldn't have even noticed. They wouldn't have even done anything.
Well, see, I just think Fern would have been like, ooh, cool. Wonder if it's going to eat them.
If she had seen it, yes. But I don't think she would have even attempted. She would have been fucking with somebody on the ship.
Fair. They run around, and Fern comes up with the idea of lifting it after the captain's like, well, we can like get hooks in it and slow it down, or give that group time to get to the hard rock. And I kind of wish we had seen more of the thing in action.
Yes.
Just because you guys have sort of encountered dust worms in the same way that they encountered this thing.
Yeah.
Always at a distance, never
up close.
Yeah. And I was interested to see how Matt would have statted it out.
Yeah, I would have liked to have seen that as well. Couple of the things that I noticed in the fight. One, you said Fern came up with the plan, and she's like, "This is just an idea, and this is while they're all brainstorming. You know, what are we gonna do? Let's come up with a plan." Chetty jumps in. You can't walk it back now. We have to do this because you said it. Where he's totally discounted ideas in the past, but you know. And then later we've got Imogen with her mind powers and FCG with Dr. Beast trying to calm it down and find a peaceful solution. And Chetty's just like, permission to fire? Let's do this. Let's just destroy any hope of a peaceful.
Well, I mean, based on what Imogen and FCG were getting, I don't think peaceful was an option. Although I did kind of like the image of Imogen basically being the Mahdi.
Yeah. Yeah, Rose. I was sure Chetney would. Like, I'm surprised that Chetney asked for permission to fire. I expected him when he said, I'll man one of the ballistas, like, it's going down.
Yeah. I was amused with as much of a impression as the ship stage, let's call it, from campaign 1 made on the players. They obviously don't remember that encounter. Or one of the, it wasn't just, there were several, but one of the encounters, they had to boost the power of the stones.
Yep.
And they basically just had to pump a spell slot into it.
Yeah. And that's a very old school spelljammer tactic.
Yeah. Well, and it's also something that Matt has done in other dungeons as well.
Yeah. Which I think he got, because that's like from 2nd edition spelljammer.
Yeah. Yeah, them, Chetney and Fern. I was surprised. Did you, okay. So Fern going to the back ballista. I felt a little muddled as to which direction she was shooting.
Yeah.
Because it kind of seemed like she was going to shoot forward. But she also did specify she was going to try to shoot for, like, the tail or something.
Yeah.
Which
I
also would
assume
indicate
the ship was moving to be horizontal to the beast.
No, I figured they were above it. Just because
I just wasn't sure how big an arc the ballista had.
Both port and starboard, they can fire down. Whereas if they're on this, this one's not going to be able to shoot.
Okay.
But yeah. So the big question that I have is, would you have allowed Featherfall to do what he allowed it to do?
I don't know. Like, I never saw Featherfall as a lightning of the object that was falling.
Yeah.
I've always seen it as a control of the speed, like, of the inertia, and but I can see how that could be an interpretation.
Okay.
Given the name, but that's like chill touch, which is neither chill nor touch.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
So I don't know. I think if I had a character that had predetermined the way that their Featherfall works, because at our table we asked for descriptions of how their specific version of the spell works, and it was a lightning of the creatures, then I would allow it.
Okay. I think in the moment, I think Matt tends to allow things that other people might not to begin with. And he had already tried to give them the hint of putting spell slots into the crystals.
Yeah.
So I think in his mind it was 6 of one, half a dozen of another. If she casts Featherfall on that or dumps first level spell slot into a crystal, does it make a difference?
Mechanically, he's doing what he needed, sapping resources.
Yes. So yeah, that was my interpretation of it.
It's like the whole can I dimension door to prevent a fall?
Yeah.
You know, and there's the people that are like, it just changes your position. You still have all the momentum, and I'm like, well, but it's, you know.
Yeah. Well, and if the fall is far enough, then
Yeah,
for sure.
But
yeah,
you know, I mean, I think it should be able to. And if I run the game, if I'm running the game, I do. Other people that are at the table don't. You know.
Yeah. I loved the moment of Laudna on Imogen's back. You know, while we're waiting, I say, so, and Laura just goes, no.
Yeah, that's true, Rose. And I think they.
So yeah, Rose's point of shooting the spell slot in is how that trap worked in the Happy Fun Time Ball.
Yeah,
they had to cast cold into the thing.
But this is like, it's not so much using a specific spell; it's using the spell slot. It's just channeling magical energy.
Yeah. And I think Taliesin tried to give them a hint of that. With, I'm just going to rage. No, I don't want that one. I'm going to rage again. No, I don't want that one. I'm going to rage again. Just
3 times, same result. Okay. I just start punching.
Yeah.
What are you doing? I'm kind of magic.
I love when everyone's like, well, wait. And he's like, if me punching it takes it out, we were dead already. I love that. That was great. Ashton gets impaled after they let it go.
Yep.
And is annoyed at their basically ignoring him.
I mean, if I had, you know, a ballista stuck in me and people were ignoring, my friends were ignoring me.
Well, the thing is, I think it's triggering for him. That's why I say because it's almost foreshadowing.
It's he's dead, leave him.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
But I mean, to be honest, you know, if I had a sharp object sticking through my chest and they were like, yeah, okay, I'd be like, all right, I see how it is.
Yeah.
I get the not taking it out, but don't just...
It's like, I'm not even here. Yeah. Yeah, for sure, abandonment issues. Little bit of IRL history coming in when they go to talk to the caravan. And Laudna is like, we accept charity and tips from her days on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yep.
But, yeah. Roleplay with injury only happens generally when it's funny. And part of it is, you know, hit points being so vague a concept of how hurt you are anyway. That without any sort of critical hit chart or massive damage rule, you very rarely do you see it. But Matt's narration of that moment, he said, you know, it's all the way through him, and it's certainly enough to bloody him.
Yeah.
So, and I think that tends to be Matt's threshold for describing when an injury occurs. is when he knows that they've been bloodied.
Yeah.
And if it happens in one hit, then he lays it on a little thicker. But they quickly make it to the town.
Yes.
And a green spotlight illuminates the ship. And Matt tells Ashton, you know this means you've been spotted and that you can expect to be intercepted. And Taliesin begins the role that he is extremely comfortable in, which is I will exposition the local town for the DM and just slip every background question that comes from that exposition.
Yeah. The thing that caught me is when he says his name, they're like, of House Greymore? I'm just like, okay. There's something.
Yeah. And I love that. Are you royalty? No, the opposite. And I'm like, what is the opposite of royalty? Mob boss.
Yep.
So yeah,
Which I'm now thinking is why he has the clasp symbol. His family has ties.
Okay, that's a good point. And also why he knows about the taste of Tal'Dorei.
Yeah.
And they were asking him, did you work there? And he tried to skirt around like, you did. Maybe he did.
It's the little Italian restaurant where they...
Yep.
Yep.
Which kind of makes me wonder. Oh, God. Okay. Now that's all I want to think about between now and when we come back. Is because we already have Matt taking inspiration from the room for the captain, Captain Xandus.
Mm-hmm.
Now all I want is for Ashton's uncle, father, brother,
whoever it is,
to be inspired by Hank from Barry.
Okay.
No-ho Hank. Oh, so good. Oh, that would be amazing. Oh. And Ashton even has some of that in him, a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Oh, another thing, rewinding just a little bit to the fight, when they're trying to alert the caravan, and they're like, blow your horn, Chetney.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, you're pretty sure you got swindled. I'm making a list! It's like, alright, so this is Chetney's thing.
Do you think he actually got swindled? Or do you think Matt...
No, I think it didn't work because you technically have to know who the person is. I don't think he got swindled, but I think he's going to treat it as if he had, because he didn't realize how the mind of Gaiden worked.
Uh-huh.
Which just adds a whole new level of depravity to his list. It's no longer walking tall, it's now...
Well, as soon as he uses it to prank somebody, which I think is what Travis is going to do with it, he will know for sure that it works. Because,
assuming he does at this point. Because if he thinks it doesn't work, why is he going to use it to prank somebody?
True. Well, FCG might try to identify it.
Maybe. Yeah, he may say, hey, FCG, I don't think this is what they sold, you know.
Yeah.
Can you check it? But, yeah, once we get into the... Okay, so I still say he's evil, but you have the vigilantism of, okay, think someone's wronging people, I'm Batman.
Yeah.
And then you've got I'm just going to fuck with everyone who I have a perceived slight with. You know? which is the Joker.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they say of all of Batman's villains, they're two sides of the same coin. They're all part of his psyche. So,
well, there's that whole graphic novel where his Batman's parents died, and Alfred was actually like, he was so mentally messed up that Alfred hired a bunch of people, and he was the Joker, and they were just like making shit up so that he could live out this fantasy in a controlled setting.
Huh. Also, one of the things that kind of made me chuckle is, and it can't be a coincidence, I don't think it is, that the first time that we see war rigs, basically, and I can't remember what they're called in Descent into Avernus, but they're from Descent into Avernus. They're like hellish motorcycles and tanks and car. It's Mad Max.
Right.
Happens in the Hellcatch Valley, which also later we have one of the locals say, "What else am I going to do in hell?"
Yeah.
Which connects back to, the Crawling King and all that stuff. And is the first hint that maybe Matt might do something with their name against them.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't know. It certainly helps them become hometown heroes here, if they wanted to be. I don't know. We'll see. One of the things that I loved is Matt bringing up that this place doesn't have inns. It has caravansaries.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. In most of the Silk Road, most of the trading that happened, caravansaries were more common than inns.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love that. Do you think the Taste of Taldore is going to have a Slayer's Cake menu?
Yes. That will be the dessert menu will be our desserts are provided by the Slayer's Cake.
Okay. I'm also hoping that will be the case. I'm trying to think, like, I don't know what to expect. I don't know if it's basically just going to be like Iman, or if there's going to be like...
No, I think it'll be mostly Amon, but there'll be like a couple Craghammer inspired dishes. Maybe gumbo from Stillben. He'll hit some of the. If it is going to be something like that, if he's going to go into that, he is going. Matt is going to hit a lot of the key cities from Campaign 1.
Do you think Whitestone has a drink or food?
Oh, Whitestone is a drink. Whitestone is a very strong drink.
Yeah.
No, I think what it'll be a glass of something where you drop the shot in, and it'll be like a white, but when you drop the shot in, it'll turn green because the refined white stone residuum is green.
Or is it absinthe?
Very well could be.
Anyway, they get their rooms, tents, and when Laura was like, "It's like glamping," I was like, "Oh, I stayed in places like that in the south of France and in Italy." I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I've been there." Oh yeah, Ashton mentioning the death wish, asking if that was still a thing.
Yeah.
And that was the first case of Ashton slipping every background question. I think it's just the equivalent of an open mic fight pit. Open mic night fight pit. I think you go, you can probably put up an ante and fight, is my guess. So far, we have had such an establishment play a part in every barbarian in each campaign.
Yeah, but
so
Ashton isn't the typical barbarian.
I guess, but like,
I mean, yeah, like he doesn't seem to be like, let's solve everything with violence. That's more Chetney.
I think Ashton's veneer of controlled violence is just a veneer.
Okay.
And I think he enjoys getting hit as much as he enjoys hitting.
Oh, definitely.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's true, Rose.
They decide to, and I guess this is now a definite tactic that Ashton is using as a tactic. We're going to get 3 rooms, we're going to sleep in 1.
Yeah.
So anyone who's following them, and they knew they had a tail this time, doesn't know which one necessarily they're staying in. But Fern gets first watch, and everyone is supposed to be watching the globe with the little light.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody does. Spoiler alert. And since the first one on watch is Fern, maybe she probably doesn't even watch.
Yeah, probably not.
But she decides that she is going to look for an off switch.
Yeah.
For FCG. And doesn't find one. Do you think there is one?
No.
Interesting.
No, I don't think it's like data.
Okay. I mean, there's nothing in Warforged that we've seen, and necessarily nothing in the Aormaton design that has been let on that there is an off switch.
Yeah.
But it would be interesting if there was. And her watch ends with her caressing his...
Tracing is what is the term she used.
His blades of grass. and FCG not taking kindly to that.
Yeah, but it's not in a creepy way.
It's not weird. All I'm saying is Michael Jackson said that every time. Moving on. FCG has his watch, and he notices the bird. And he freaks out. FCG wakes up Chetney.
Yeah.
Are you on next watch? And he's like, I am now. Which I personally love. That dynamic. Like if you don't agree before everyone lays down, then it's who are you going to wake up? Kind of thing. So that was fun for me. But FCG's like, I need you to look outside and see if there's a bird out there. And he's like, oh, what? And after he gets over the confusion, he goes and he looks out. Yeah, there's a bird. Yeah, there is. Why? He's like, look, if that comes in here, you gotta kill it.
Okay,
he's like,
so
gonna come in?
I'm just gonna say, Shithead is not just a bird. Shithead is just a bird in the way that canes and diamond rings were rocks and sticks to knot.
Agreed. But I do have to say that I called this one. Because I said his fear of birds comes from him being shit on. Like a statue. Now, also, I think
this
he said when everything changed.
This is gonna play out like Knott's fear of water.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was drowned and then brought back to life in a new body.
Yeah. I think this fear of the bird stems from not when Dancer died.
No.
But when his Aor Calamity City fell.
Yeah.
And it's going to be interesting that he had how we explore his awareness of his situation. But yeah, I think the FCG scene was probably the best scene of the episode. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Because and the Chetney getting his promotion was also nice. He's like, does that make us trusted companions? Are we bonded? And then Matt at the end is like, well, with the shared secret and a oath of protection, yeah, I'll allow it.
Yeah.
And then in the morning, Chetney delivers his gift for Laudna.
Yeah. I just want to say, oath of protection, shared secret. Like, is this going down a road like... Okay, I've already compared Chetney to Joker earlier this episode. Is that going to make FCG Harley Quinn the therapist that gets corrupted?
Maybe. Although, I think Imogen might be closer to that.
Okay.
Just because I don't see FCG falling into the toxic relationship that they have, where Imogen might.
Yeah, I wasn't really considering the relationship part, but just the corruption part.
They begin to track through the city using their orb, and they hear a mugging happening.
Yes.
And a very weak help being called invites Erica onto the scene. How many episodes do you think she'll be here?
I don't know if it'll be quite as long as Robbie was, but I think she's going to. My gut is that through whatever this arc in this town is, and possibly be their catalyst going to the Feywild.
And see, I think Rose is on the right. I'm with Rose. We were talking about that they would have a guest star each arc, and I think.
Oh yeah, but I mean, Robbie wasn't there for the full arc either.
He was there for the I guess you could argue he left before the Drusar arc was properly over. But I don't know. I think he left at the climax of the Drusar act. But I figure she's going to be with us 5 to 12 episodes.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking around 8 or 9, so that's within that range.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it's the catalyst to go to the Feywild, just because they are not high enough level yet to get there and back on their own without a gateway or anything like that. But I do think it is going to be the expositional route that we learn next tier's conflict. We're beginning through their personal journeys to peel back what's at stake for the world. And I think Dusk is going to further that. I think she's going to be whatever is blocking her memory, whatever experience she had in the Feywild, I think is going to inform this thinning of the bridge and the stuff that we've been getting from the Feywild.
Okay.
They see, yeah, and the dialogue seemed to indicate that perhaps she went to Fern's Glen.
Yeah.
But it's also the Feywild, and there are lots of those kind of places. So, who knows? But when they come back from the break, Erica's describing her character. I was like, Eladrin? Warlock?
Yeah.
And then a couple rounds, Elf Warlock, because she cast Eldritch Blast.
Yeah.
And there was just something about the way that she's talking in that sword. I was like, Hexblade?
Well, yeah. She is a warlock, for sure. Her card said level 6 warlock.
Yeah.
So she's either taken the weapons specialist feat or is a hexblade.
To have proficiency with rapiers.
Yeah. So my bet is she's a Hexblade. Because I don't think I've ever seen anybody take that feat.
Yeah. Yeah, especially because what you can get better taking a 1-level dip.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I can get 4 weapons in general, like simple or martial, depending on what my proficiencies already are, and a +1 to strength. Or I can dip fighter, get all simple and martial weapons, a bonus action heal, and a fighting style.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's like 2.5 feats.
Yeah.
For the 1-level dip.
No.
No, she did not actually use the sword, but she did state that it was obvious she had training with it.
Yeah.
So.
And it's crystal encrusted, which brings to mind the barnacle encrusted Sword of Ford.
Yes.
And we know that there's crystals coming from the Feywild here.
Yeah.
And that's why I say she will be the root of exposition for the extraplanar stuff. Maybe how they go back to the Feywild. Maybe, but...
Okay. I mean, yeah, essentially we're on the same page.
Yeah. Huge PC Halo. Although, interestingly, now I joked that I didn't think Ashton or Fern would help with the squid thing at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
But Ashton is the first one who runs to help.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? Because to me, that was a confusing moment.
No. For me, no. Ashton seems like the crawler with the caravan. That's like a distance, you know. That's almost like watching something on the news. But he's oftentimes been like, yeah, we're just gonna help, you know. When it's right there and in his face, he's like, yeah, I want to help. I mean, he jumped in with the animated furniture at the very beginning.
Again, is that a desire to help or just to get in a fight? I don't think anyone has had the discussion with him, or with anyone really, within the group, of sort of, you know, what are our grounds for interfering with things? Are we going to be big damn heroes, or are we mercenary?
I think Ashton. I think he's like the black sheep of his mob family. I think he's probably chaotic. I think he's like the medium damn hero. He's not quite paladin. Let's help but he's like, yeah, they're like this is not fair to this one individual person. I can help this. Let's do the right thing.
Fair. Which is also why I think it's possible that they become the local town heroes and change things here for the better. I think Ashton may come to view the Bell's Hells as the mode of change that he lacked when he was here.
I agree, bros. Helping every day, the average Joe, rather than.
Oh, especially those in power.
It's more like Green Arrow versus Green Lantern. It's the everyday hero, the common man protector, not the. I mean, they'll end up getting in that because we're going extra planar.
Yeah.
I mean, that's heavily foreshadowed.
Yeah. I was going to say it's Luke Cage versus Iron Man.
Yeah.
But at the end of the fight, Fern ducks into a tent and gets high, but it doesn't become incapacitated, and steals a scimitar, a sack of rice, a box of candles, and I don't remember what the other thing was. All mundane stuff, and I'm surprised she took the sack of rice. And I think the reason why she is now on I'm going to take everything that's not nailed down mission is she has that hole.
Yeah.
She wants to fill that hole. So, yeah, I think she's just taking everything. Yeah.
Yes, it's your war.
Yeah. But now we basically have to wait 4 weeks, I think, 4 or 5 weeks.
Yes. 4. The last Thursday of this month, the first 3 of next month.
I don't know if it's about collecting stuff to get layer actions in the spider hole, but maybe. Oh. So I made a bunch of comments on some very good and funny art on Twitter.
Okay.
About how, and on YouTube actually, on some of the animations, but it's like Imogen is just getting closer and closer to Gollum.
With the hair falling out.
Yeah. Because, like, to me, that, and I mentioned this last week, the scene between her and Laudna is like, the beginning of it's Smeagol and Deagle, and the end is Faramir and Gollum.
Yeah. And I love Laura's presentation of going back to that original fight when she's like, all right, get on, like she really didn't want to take Laudna with her, but...
Well, and straight up told her no.
Yeah.
When she's like, so, okay. And there was a side comment made during the fight when she was pulling out her hair to be in solidarity. It's like,
no, see, it happens.
And someone made the comment, something like, you're just doing anything to get back in her good graces. And Marisha's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't. So going forward, do we have? Because I could see this wrapping up quickly, or taking 4 or 5 episodes. They seem to be in something of a hurry to find Armand. It would be smart for them to find where he is hiding and case it first, which is why they're not going to do that. I half expect them to find the place and kick the door in, fight. Somebody goes down, maybe two somebodies go down. And they either win or have to retreat. Or our mom gets away. And they gotta continue the chase. And while they are recovering from that, they are drawn into the Greymore drama, which will take place at the Taste of Tal'Dorei, probably, as the central thing. I think when they go there, there will be an attack. Not unlike Goodfellas, The Godfather, when the restaurant gets hit. Well, when any number of restaurants in those movies get hit.
I was gonna say St. Valentine's Day Massacre.
Yeah. Yeah.
Related to what you want. It's gonna happen.
Yeah. Which is where I think if Ashton is the wannabe hero, the champion of the downtrodden, this will be the turning point for that, which will snowball into the extraplanar threats being revealed. And okay, we've saved this small town. Now let's save the world.
Okay.
Is how I think this next arc is going to be structured.
Yeah, I can see that. I think the one that'll push for let's save the world will be Orem.
Yes.
One, he's the most likely to want to. Two, it will be following in the footsteps of Keyleth and Vex and Percy and all these people he's seen up close.
Yep. Which is why I think...
And the selling point will be Bertrand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. But I think we will see level 20 this campaign.
Okay.
I think so. I'm gonna stick with that. I think we will see level 20 play. Just because there's not a cartoon coming out that they've got to synergize with. There's not a pandemic that's stalling play.
Okay.
And speaking of that, I did have a moment where I was like, oh, I guess we're definitely out of the pandemic now. I was like, one of your castmates gets COVID and survives, and suddenly no one cares anymore. When Erica comes on, they're all hugging, and then like she takes a bite of, I think it was probably chicken or something on a stick, and Marisha takes a bite of it, and then Erica finishes it. I'm like, oh, I guess we're not worried about COVID anymore. Or monkeypox.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just a funny moment for me. And I was just like, wow, I wonder how many people are freaking out over that. I don't know if we will see a coming together of Imogen and Laudna that isn't forced by probably FCG. And Sam, being the troll that he is, tried to force the issue when he's like, I don't know if you want to do the dream thing tonight, but we can, and just trying to get
Yeah.
trying to force Laura into role-playing Imogen as being angry with Laudna or wanting to be distant. Just because I think he desperately wants FCG to be in on that.
Yeah.
We know one of Dusk's invocations. Repelling Blast.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, I forgot to check if she added anything when she rolled damage to see if she has Agonizing Blast.
I don't remember. But she'll have 3 total invocations at 6th level.
I don't think she's Pact of the Blade. If she were Pact of the Blade, them taking her sword doesn't matter.
Well, that, and if she had been Pact of the Blade, she would have most likely taken the invocation that gives her extra attack with their Pact weapon.
Yeah.
And we would have seen her use the sword.
Yeah. So it may be you may get your wish to see somebody do Hexblade and not do Pact of the Blade.
Yes.
Take a suboptimal choice on their pact.
Yes.
I think maybe she went Talisman.
Maybe.
Because that's sort of
Probably.
Fey flavored.
Yeah.
She breaks it off her sword, maybe. Maybe Dusk is how Imogen and Laudna make up. If she is Talisman and she does break off from the sword, the crystals.
We have not seen enough of Dusk to really make too many speculations.
Yeah, Rose, I thought something similar. That if she hadn't changed her skin color, she could be part of the Blue Man Group. Which, I mean, if she's going to be rolling on that table, she might get it again.
I mean,
now, if memory serves, Ford's hair started growing back quickly.
yeah, it was like a couple of rests and his hair was back.
Do you think she's bald until she gets Remove Curse cast on her?
No.
No?
I'd have to look. It's been a minute since I looked, but I think it's like a D4 number of days that you're bald. And then the hair comes back.
I think Calamity, Exandria Unlimited Calamity, is either going to be centered around Vasselheim or one of the flying cities. That's my guess.
Or Age of Arcanum Roshana, because that was originally the Vasselheim of the Betrayer Gods. But I think it'll be a flying city because I still think Sam is either going to be an Artificer or an Eormaton. He's either going to be FCG's creator or FCG
Before.
pre-fall.
Yeah. But we'll have to wait and see until Thursday.
Yep.
And we will be here the following Tuesday to talk about it. So until then, take care of yourselves and each other, everybody. Have a good week. Bye.